Good morning. It's Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. And today is Sunday, the 16th of April, 2023. And it's program 72 of the series on La Divina Commedia by Dante Alighieri. Now, today is a very important day because it's Canto 33 of Purgatorio. It's the last canto of this second book of the Divina Commedia. And I look forward to finishing it off because then I will dedicate, 5 or 6 lessons to it until we get to the next book that I will of the Divina Commedia, which is Paradiso, a very interesting one for me because I haven't read it, and I look forward to it. Like I've enjoyed immensely doing Purgatorio. Purgatorio has been quite an interesting read for me because I've learned how the Dante thought of how to get around the original sin by Adam and Eve and going to Christ, and then from there is the establishment of the church, of the Christian church. And at the beginning, it was really quite a good church because they were suffering under the Romans. They were victims of the Roman Empire in the first 300 years until Emperor Constantine made Christianity the official religion of the Roman Empire. So, you get from this powerful empire led by emperors, etc. Basically that's who they were at that time, and they subjugated the church, the early Christian church. But when the Christian church then took over from them, they came second because then Christianity was the main religion. So any other religion and belief in many gods was prohibited. It wasn't to be. And as a result of that as well, then we had, with the spread of communications between the European nations, and especially the ones, say from the Vikings downwards, over 1,000 years, basically, about 900 years. In that time, Christianity, the Christian church, became very, very powerful. And Dante happened to be living in 1300 under this particular powerful church, which had been corrupted by centuries of domination of other people, of all the people under the radar. So here Dante with Purgatorio tells us that that's not a good thing to be in that situation there. Welcome to Arcifusillo. It's not a good thing to be in that particular situation where the church dominates, but dominates in a corrupt way in the Middle Ages. And Dante, of course, undertakes this particular journey of La Divina Commedia because he sees himself as being like, I don't want to say the word, but like a new Messiah, in that he says, this is where we are now, and it's the wrong place to be. And look what's happening. Even the church, the center of the church, which is supposed to be Rome, actually goes to Avignon in France. It's not a good situation. But then Dante retains positivity. So I'm assuming then the next journey that's in Paradiso will show us how it is done. And Beatrice, the love of his life in the early years, actually in this particular canto becomes the grand priestess of heaven. She represents the purity of the Christian belief and of all those people who end up in paradise, in Paradiso. So we are here in Paradiso Terrestre. This is the last canto, and Dante sins have been forgiven, and he will now have his sins forgotten. So he'll be ready to move towards Paradiso. Okay, so that's basically it. I'm trying to do my best. As I said, I haven't read Dante Alighieri as a whole before. I did it at university, but when you're young, it really, La Divina Commedia really should be read by people of my age, adults who have lived life and who understand the importance of living in a good way for other people and from oneself. So that's it. Then I will do one poem of mine, a couple of poems, the Four Seasons coming up in Mica Poesia number 2, book 2, and finally I'll have 3 more songs, which now have become really another journey of mine called Coro all'improvviso. And Coro all'improvviso aims to wrap up the culture of Italy in the 20th century from the year 1950 onwards to about 2000. I look at many of the singers who have given us beautiful songs and a beautiful, really wonderful, wonderful legacy. Okay, so it's 11:31. I will start now, but I will start with with the usual analysis of Canto 33. Okay, and of course here we go. Okay, so this is how it starts. The summary of it is: weeping softly, the virtues and graces chant the psalm, "O God, the heathens are come." Then Beatrice speaks in Latin, quoting from the Gospel of John, "A little while and you shall not see me, and again a little while and you shall see me." And that's who did that? Of course, Christ did that. He said, after his death, he said, "You'll see me again." So then the whole group continues on their way, but after a little while, Beatrice gives Dante a piercing glance, knowing he has questions. And Dante is overcome in the presence of Beatrice. He can't get his words out. Finally, Dante pulls himself together to ask Beatrice about what he's just been shown. Beatrice explains that the feathered chariot, which was shown to be monster then prey, will not lack on air forever. Soon, she says, an hour is coming when 510 and 5 is coming to slay both the whore and the giant. She urges Dante to communicate this to those still living. So we're talking about here about the church and the relationship between the church and the empire and the emperor. They approach two divergent streams in the distance, and Matilda explains that this is Eunoe. And Statius, she draws both Dante and Statius towards the water. Dante takes an inexpressibly sweet drink and withdraws from the stream, feeling remade, pure, and prepared to rise towards the stars. And that's the end of Purgatorio, of course. So he goes, he's been totally purified before he can enter paradise. And he forgets about all the past, the sins, and, he's looking for high experiences. And let's not forget, Beatrice said that keep on looking, because your job here is to go back to earth and tell those people that that's the way they should live, and tell the Pope and the Emperor what you've just seen. So, you know, Dante is like a messiah for people in high positions. I think that's a good one, because people in high positions should read Dante to cleanse their souls. Analysis. This canto, like the previous one, focuses largely on the church's enslavement to worldly influences. Welcome to Aci Fusillo and Assunta Lombardi. Very happy for you to be on. Excuse me. The latest chant refers to the worldly infiltration of the church, and Beatrice's quotation probably refers to the successive removal and restoration of the papal see when they get back to Rome after Avignone. Beatrice prophesies to Dante that the church will someday have an heir to Constantine, who will presumably restore the church to purity from its worldly captivity. Well, we're still waiting. However, there is no scholarly consensus regarding the 515. There's a number here. The significance of this numerological symbol was probably known only to Dante himself. Look, the problem here for these notes too is that no one has got the answers to Dante. And the best thing to do is for you to actually, read Dante yourself. As I said, Insegna.com, you will find these books here online, and you can order them in from me, or you can, use your own means to access Purgatorio, the Inferno and Purgatorio books, and now in preparation for the next one, you'll need the Paradiso one as well. Okay, so this is now Canto 33. Cheers, Purgatorio. Here we come. Deus venerunt gentes, alternando or 3 or 4 dolce salmodia, le donne incominciaro e lagrimando, e Beatrice sospirosa e pia, quelle ascoltava siffatto che poco più alla croce si cambiò Maria. Difficult to actually see how it starts. So, Dio sono arrivati i gentili, i pagani. In other words, Dante Dante. Sono arrivati i pagani. But Statius is there too. Queste parole del Salmo intonarono le 7 donne, dolcemente, alternativamente cantando un versetto, il gruppo delle 3 virtù teologali. Ci sono 3 virtù teologali, which I have to find out, ed un altro versetto, quello delle 4 virtù cardinali. E intanto piangevano lagrimando. Il Salmo che viene cantato in tono di lamento, ma anche con dolcezza dalla virtù, e di cui Dante cita solo le prime parole del primo versetto, etc., etc. So these are the notes that are underneath this. Now I'll read it again. Deus venerunt gentes. So i pagani sono arrivati, alternando 3 o 4 dolce salmodia, le donne incominciaro e lagrimando, e Beatrice sospirosa e pia, quelle ascoltava siffatto che a poco più alla croce si cambiò Maria. E Beatrice sospirando, piena di pietà, in consonanza. In other words, Beatrice said, oh yeah, they're singing the psalm like in a church, and then you follow. And she was the grand priestess of Paradiso Terrestre, Beatrice. She comes from heaven. Let's go on. Ma poi che le altre vergini dir loro a lei di dir, levata dritta in pe, rispose colorato come fuoco. Modicum et non videbitis me, et iterum, sorelle mie dilette, modicum et vos videbitis me. So this is the bit that he says, my dear girls, you know, my dear virgins, you know, the angels, but they can't be angels because they're not from paradise. They are in paradiso terrestre, these four, they're like nymphs. It says, now the time has come when now you can see me, you won't be able to see me, and then you will be able to see me. So, ma quando le 7 vergini cessato il loro canto, diedero a lei la possibilità di parlare, essa, Beatrice, levandosi dritta in piedi, fattasi nel volo del colore del fuoco, segno del suo sdegno per le vicende della Chiesa, disse: ancora un poco e più non mi vedrete, mie dilette sorelle, e un altro poco poi mi vedrete di nuovo. Le parole pronunciate da Beatrice sono quelle con cui il Vangelo di Giovanni, Cristo nell'ultima cena annuncia ai discepoli che sarebbe morto a lì poco. So this is a reference to the church. To Beatrice is not happy with where the church is right now. She says, this is not good. But lucky that we got Dante coming here. And we'll be able to send them a message. It's the way Dante works it all out. He's smart. Poi le mise innanzi tutte e 7 e dopo sé, solo accennando, mosse me e la donna e il savio che ristette. So in other words, after she settled the nymphs, her helpers, le 3 virtù teologali e le 4 virtù cardinali. So they represent the virtues for theology and cardinale, I'm assuming it's for the living, for humanity. For the theologia, in other words, the belief in God that has to come first in order for the virtù cardinale coming after. And if these 2 things then happen to be, then the soul can go into paradise. That's my explanation. It's not, I haven't read this anywhere. It's the way I'm starting to think about Dante and what he's trying to do. Poi lei si mise innanzi tutte e 7 e dopo sé, solo accennando, mosse me e la donna, me Dante, la donna is Matilda e il savio che ristette Statius, that are still accompanying Dante even though Virgilio is gone. Because let's not forget, the Statius in Purgatorio, he can be where he is. Così sengiva, e non credo che fosse lo 10° suo passo in terra posto, quando con gli occhi mi percosse. And so after having, stood up, she talks to the 3 of them, but really she's directing her eyes to Dante, Beatrice. He meets her. She doesn't go up to him and hugs him. She becomes the high priestess of Paradiso Terrestre. Con gli occhi mi percosse, she hit me with her eyes, e con tranquillo aspetto, and she was calm. No longer she told him off, she's now calm. He's done what he's supposed to do before coming to see her. It's like doing your confession, You're then pardoned, etc., etc., and then they become all nice towards you because you've submitted. Yeah. Submission is the key. E con tranquillo aspetto, vien piuttosto, come, mi disse, tanto che se io parlo teco, ad ascoltarmi tu si è ben disposto. So come over here, because if I'm speaking to you, you have to be ready for what I'm going to say to you. Sì come io fui, come io dovea seco dissemi. Sì come io fui, as I was, come io dovea, as I should behave, seco dissemi, she told me. Frate, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you talking to me? Frate, perché non t'attenti a domandarmi ormai venendo meco? You know you've come here to ask me questions. Why don't you bloody go and do it? Do it now. Talk to me. Don't be shy, Dante. Come a coloro che troppo reverenti dinanzi al suo maggior parlando sono. So, you know, when you're reviewing, sometimes you meet people that they take the words, you know, like we do that now with a lot of people, with people who are really famous, you know, big singers, etc. Oh, they come to Australia and they all rush towards these people here as if, I say, well, just ordinary people, they're just singing, you know what I mean? Why do you put them on a pedestal? But if they didn't do that, it wouldn't be right, would it? So, but I'm a bit more skeptical about these things. So I don't go to meet the hype. If they happen to be there, good. If they're not, no. Ok? Come a coloro che troppo reverenti dinanzi al suo maggior parlando sono, che non traggono la voce viva ai denti, they can't talk, avvenne a me, to Dante, che senza intero suono incominciai, senza intero suono, very humbly, ok? Maybe he had a cold like me. Yeah. Madonna, mia bisogna voi conoscete, e ciò che adesse è buono. Madonna, why do you ask me for my questions? You already know what you're going to tell me that is good for me. In other words, that's the role of the church, that tell us what to do, that's good. We shouldn't ask any questions. Why ask questions of Hitler or Putin or whatever? But this is different. That's for the Rome, you know, that's for the empire part. Here, the theology comes in. And the theology says, you follow the rules of God, which have been given to us to administer. So you better believe, because if you don't need to ask any questions. Just follow what we say, what is right. And Dante thinks of the early church here when Christ died, and then he went upstairs and came back and gave the Spirit to his disciples, and then they went out. The early church, but that caused a lot of problems to a lot of people, because a lot of people died under the hands of the Roman Empire, of the Roman emperors. Not all of them, but most of them. Okay, ed elle a me, and so she replies, da tema e da vergogna voglio che tu ormai ti disviluppi. So don't be afraid or don't be ashamed. Get rid of these. They're not for you. Sì che non parli più comunque sogni, so that you don't talk anymore as if you're dreaming. Un uomo che sogna. So in other words, you know, get a hold of yourself, and I'm going to be accompanying you. That's what she's really saying. Sappi che il vaso che il serpente ruppe fu e non è, ma chi ne colpa creda, creda che vendetta di Dio non teme suppe. So here we go. So this one here, again, my own interpretation. There are some notes here too, but here it says, sappi che il vaso che il serpente, you know, the one who gave the apple to Eva, and then Adam got involved as well because, you know, Adam and Eva. But Eva came from his thigh, according to the scriptures, the Bible. Sappi che il vaso che il serpente ruppe fu e non è. It was and it's not. Ma chi ne ha colpa, but whoever has guilt, creda che vendetta di Dio non teme suppe. So, you know, you don't have to be afraid of God, because God is also misericordioso. He will forgive. It's not, non teme sup, è chiaro il senso generale dell'espressione, non la parola. Secondo il commento di alcuni dei più autorevoli antichi chiosatori del poema, qui si fa riferimento alla superstiziosa credenza dei fiorentini secondo cui se l'uccisore era in grado di mangiare la sua zuppa sulla tomba dell'ucciso per 9 giorni consecutivi, non doveva temere la vendetta dei parenti dell'ucciso. So this way, Dante, to understand Dante, you need to understand his mental state when he approaches all that happens in La Divina Commedia. An emotional state too, and the fact that there is an exiled person, not an easy life for him. Non sarà tutto tempo senza reda l'aguglia che lasciò le penne al carro perché divenne mostro e poscia preda. L'aguglia dell'aquila, the eagle that left its, that left its, what do you call it, le penne, its feathers, its feathers. So that's the time when Christ was killed, and then he redeemed, and then the Holy Spirit was given to his disciples, and then they created the church and became victims of the Roman emperors. It's l'aguglia. That's il carro with Beatrice, except they come down. So you got to study this, and then the emperor takes it down, and then Constantine arrives, and he gives Christianity the go-ahead. And so therefore, at that time, then il carro, l'aguglia, the eagle, is actually leaves its feathers once again. So in other words, the idea of forgiveness, penitence comes along, and following the theology of the Christian Church. Che io veggio certamente, però non sarà tutto tempo senza reda l'aguglia che lasciò le penne al carro, perché divenne mostro e poscia preda. Che io veggio certamente, però il narro e darne tempo già stelle propinque, sicure d'ogni intoppo e d'ogni sbarro, nel quale un 510,5 messo di Dio anciderà la furia con quel gigante che con lei delinque. Allora, il gigante is the emperor, the kings of France in this case here, that moved, with Boniface, Pope Boniface. And at that time, they moved the center of the church to Avignon, but there were 3 or 4 popes at the same time. So the church was almost lost. Who's going to represent Peter? It's a pope, just one pope represents him, and he must be in Rome. Rome is the center of Christianity, because there Peter was crucified upside down. He said, "Don't crucify me like my Lord, crucify me with my head down." Incredible. And then he says, 515. The way I've read some of the notes, they say this is the penitence time. It's about 5,000 years that the church will need to ask penitance in a way. So in other words, we still today have a church, where there's some corruption in certain places, but not all, because it's like the church is in a state of purgatorio right now. How long it's going to be, who knows? So you can't expect a perfect church representing Christ and God on earth as yet. When is the question? So I think this 515, that's the way I see it, but I haven't read it like this. As they say, they're talking about 5,000 years. Well, this Dante moves his vision like a poet towards the future. This is what's going to be done here. So messo di Dio inciderà la furia con quel gigante con lei delinque. Ok, e forse che la mia narrazione buia, qual temi e sfinge, mentre ti persuade, perché a lor modo lo intelletto attua. Ma tosto fierli fatti le naiade che solveranno questo enigma forte senza danno di pecore o di biade. It's a difficult one. Se forse il discorso oscuro, come erano oscuri gli oracoli di temi e gli indovini della Sfinge, non ti persuade, ti riesca scarsamente comprensibile, perciò poco persuasive, perché alla loro maniera delle risposte di temi e delle Sfinge ottunde, abbuia, ottura il tuo intelletto. In other words, the theology in the past, before Christ arrived, the divinations was all the rage. They looked for answers about the future, but you weren't allowed. Some of the poets of the past, before Christ, they said you're not allowed to really look at the future because it's if you remember, you will turn into stone. If you know the future, and you turn, you'll become stone. You're not allowed. The future is not for us to see. So that's the way I see this one here. So this needs a bit of, a bit of studies. Don't forget that, some of the theology ti oscura la mente. In other words, you can't really understand it all. And that's why Dante says to us, you can't understand everything I say because it's not of this world. I love this. Dante. And then he continues. Tu nota, e siccome da me son porte, così queste parole segna a vivi del vivere che è un corretto alla morte. So take note of my words, because these words here, it's your duty to tell them che del vivere, che è un correre alla morte, that life is a race towards death. Il vivere è un correre alla morte. You can write a big essay on this. Life is a race towards death. Think about that. E aggi a mente quando tu le scrivi. You're going to write them. And today I've had Archie Fusila coming on. Take note, Archie. This is important. E aggi a mente quando tu le scrivi di non celar qual hai vista la pianta che or 2 volte dirubata quivi. So don't forget the tree that you saw without leaves, and then the feathers of the eagle came back. In other words, this journey of Christianity before Christ, after Christ, up to Constantine, and from Constantine to this time at Avignone. So this che or 2 volte dirubata quivi è stata cambiata, dirubata. It's almost like you're stealing something. So from, not having Christ to then having Christ, coming from God to establishment of the Christian church, I repeat, it's a repetition here by me, but that's how I see it. Qualunque ruba quello o quella schianta, con bestemmia di fatto offende a Dio, che solo all'uso suo la creò santa. So he created that tree where Eve got the mela from the serpent for his own. His gift to humanity was il paradiso terrestre. E so, qualunque ruba quello, quella schianta, con bestemmia di fatto offende Dio. So by taking the apple, there was no need to take that apple, because that belonged to God, che solo all'uso suo, so only if he gives you paradiso terrestre, you don't need to eat, you don't need to do anything. But by taking something from there, you upset the system, the God divine system. Okay, so remember that. Per mordere quella, that's the, in pena in disio 5.000 anni e più l'anima prima, bramò colui che il morso in sé punìa. So that apple, just by taking it, because of that desire, you get a punishment of 5,000 years. Dormelo ingegno tuo, se non estima per singular cagione essere eccelsa lei tanto e si travolta nella cima. Dorme. Il tuo ingegno è veramente addormentato, torbido, manca della solita acutezza, se non comprende e non valuta esattamente che questa pianta è stata creata tanto alta e così stranamente volta in senso contrario nella cima si dilata, non si restringe verso la cima, per una ragione straordinaria, non per caso, ma secondo una linea voluta e motivata. So in other words, this part here, again, dormelo ingegno tuo, you can't, your intellect is asleep without this understanding that you are looking for. E se stati non fossero acqua d'elsa li pensier vani intorno alla tua mente e il piacer loro un piramo alla gelsa, per tante circostanze solamente la giustizia di Dio nell'interdetto conosceresti all'arbor moralmente. So in other words, the way I understand it here she says, if you hadn't gone via the river that made you forget all your sins, you won't be, you won't be awake. Per tante circostanze solamente la giustizia di Dio. You are looking for God's justice. What is God's justice? What is His misericordia? He's also forgiving at the same time. So you get a mix. This God is a mix of many virtues. And, you better understand them, sort of thing. Ma perché io veggio te nello intelletto fatto di pietra e impetrato tinto sì che t'abbaglia il lume del mio detto, voglio anche, e se non scritto almen dipinto, che te ne porti dentro, a te, per quello che si reca il bordon di palma cinto. Ma perché ma poiché vedo che tu hai ben poco capito delle mie parole e che il tuo intelletto è come pietrificato dai pensieri mondani e oltre che petrosamente, eccetera, sono induriti, cioè you don't understand my words as yet. And then Dante replies, e io, sì, and again, very humbly, sì come c'era da suggello che la figura impressa non trasmuta, segnate e or da voi lo mio cervello, ma perché tanto sovra mia veduta vostra parola disiate vola che più la perde quanto più s'aiuta. So the more I try to understand you, I get your words, but the more I try to understand you, the less I can see. That's why, but, la figura impressa non trasmuta. So some of these words here relate to the fact that once you understand and you don't understand, then you get forgiveness, then this, then that, and keeps going. Perché conosci, disse quella scuola, because she says, che hai seguitata e veggi sua dottrina che può seguitare la mia parola. e veggi vostra via dalla Divina distarco tanto quanto si discorda da terra il ciel che più alto festina. In other words, you have followed in your writings the old way of looking at Beatrice, il dolce stil nuovo. No, before il dolce stil nuovo. The idea of putting the woman on a pedestal. Beatrice in this case is, you remember that. Don't forget, you have to renew also the literary part when you get back. Onde io rispose lei, non mi ricorda chi straniasse me già mai da voi, né omne coscienza che rimorda. I don't remember that io mi sono I didn't follow your, what you say. I don't remember all this now, because what I did that went me away from your example when I first met you. Then she replies, e se tu ricordare non te ne puoi, sorridendo rispose, ortriammenta come bevesti di lete ancoi. So in other words, if you don't remember now, remember that you went past lete, you went through the waters of lete, you were baptized. That's what it says. You were baptized, and therefore you don't remember, but I forgive you because, you and I are going to have many of these chats. She becomes his guide through paradise. E se dal fumo fuoco s'argomenta, cotesta oblivion chiaro conchiude, coppa nella tua voglia altrove attenta. E se dal fumo fuoco s'argomenta, dal fumo fuoco. Mi rispose con amabile affettuosità, e se non te ne puoi ricordare di esserti mai da me staccata, ricordati almeno che proprio oggi hai bevuto l'acqua delle tè, che cancella tutto, no? Interesting part. Veramente oramai saranno nude le mie parole, quanto converrassi, quelle scoprirete alla tua vista rude. Veramente, ma d'ora in poi le mie parole saranno semplici, nude, di quella veste figurata che le rendeva astruse, quando sarà necessario denudare, rendere accessibili quelle mie parole alla tua intelligenza ancora rozza, non educata a penetrare dentro il loro senso. Wonderful! Antonio Danzi, welcome. E più corruso e con più lenti passi, so she says, veramente oramai saranno rude le mie parole quanto converrassi. In other words, when you follow me through paradise, which is coming next, I will speak to you very clearly and you will understand me, because that's the message that you're going to bring back to earth when you finish with your journey through paradise. You've got to wait about half a year before we get to the end of paradise. I hope that he gives me life and, all that sort of stuff, because non si sa mai. E più corrusco e con più lenti passi steneva il sole e il cerchio di merigge, che qua e là come le aspette fassi, quando s'affisser sì come s'affigge chi va dinanzi a gente per iscorta, se trova novitate o sua vestigge, le 7 donne al fin d'un'ombra smorta, qual sotto foglie verdi e rami nigri, sovra suoi freddi rivi l'Alpe porta. Mamma mia! E più corruto. E il sole è fattosi più fulgido, più e muovendosi più lentamente lungo la linea dell'orizzonte, il meridiano, era mezzogiorno che si sposta qua e là in rapporto alla posizione di chi osserva, quando si ferma, eccetera, eccetera. So this relates to Dante looking at the stars as usual and following il meridiano, following the clock, basically, moving towards the midnight, the evening. So we're talking about here again. Dante di ricerca, spesso a noi riescono, perché tra l'astronomia dantesca e quella nostra di mezzo ci sono Copernico e Galilei. In sintesi, Dante qui vuol dire che era mezzogiorno, la stagione, etc., etc. So his clock wasn't the one that we follow today. His clock was, Copernicus and Galilei, that was the signs of the time, but there was a lot, even, the way the dice were run by the church with the campane. Le campane cominciavano dalla mattina. And then, the breakfast time and lunch time and in the afternoon and in the evening. So those are the things that were developed. Il quale si sposta alla seconda di l'equatore, i tropici, lo zodiaco, che sono sempre più stessi, ma ogni etc., etc. So this particular part here relates to the day, the way the day goes, and the way the day goes up in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, which in this case is where Purgatorio is. Ok, dinanzi ad esse Eufrate e Tigri vedermi parve uscire d'una fontana e quasi amici di partirsi pigri. E so the east, the west, the east, towards the east. In other words, the sun turns the other way. Well, o luce, o gloria della gente umana, che acqua è questa che qui si dispiega da un principio a sé, da sé lontana. O acqua, dinanzi ad essa, davanti ad essa le 7 donne, mi parve di vedere 2 fiumi uscire dalla stessa sorgente, come dalla stessa sorgente defluivano il Tigri e l'Eufrate, per poi separarsi ed avviarsi per direzioni opposte. So, whereas l'Ete went one way towards Paradiso Terrestre, l'Enoè went towards Paradise. Ok, per cotal priego detto mi fu, priega Matelde che el ti dica. Priega Matelde. So in other words, Matelde helps, because now the 7 nymphs have gone back to the tree, and Beatrice, I think, goes up to paradise waiting for Dante, che says, mi vedi e non mi vedi. No, adesso non mi vedi, ma poi mi vedrai. That's why she said, and here we get to the end of it. Priega Matilde, e qui gli rispose come fa chi da coppa si dislega la bella donna. E so Beatrice says, follow Matilde and she'll show you the way. Queste altre cose dette lì son per me, e son sicura che l'acqua di Letè non gliel nascose. E Beatrice, forse maggior cura, che spesse volte la memoria priva, fatte la mente tua negli occhi oscura. So, if you don't understand a lot of things, it's because you're still too much attached to what you did on earth, the way you lived on earth, and you remember all that. Now you're going to forget about the earth, we're going to concentrate on paradise. It's her way of saying it. Ma vedi Noè che là di riva, meno adesso è come tu se usa la tramortita sua virtù ravviva. And so Beatrice said to Matilde, do this for him, bring him there and let him become alive for my counsel regarding paradise. So there you are. How are we going to do it? Come anima gentil che non fa scusa, ma fa sua voglia della voglia altrui, tosto che è per segno fuor di schiusa. Così poi che da esso preso fui, e la donna mossesi e a stagio d'onnescamente disse, vien con lui. So Matilde says, she follows. So lovely lady, Matilde says, even to stagio, come with me. And Dante to follow me. Se io avessi lettor più lungo spazio da scrivere, if I had more time, e pur canterei in parte la dolce ber che mai non m'avria sazio. this sweet drinking from the Eunoe. Oh, if I had more time, I would be able to explain, write another novel about the way I felt when I drank these waters. Ma perché piene sono tutte le carte ordite a questa cantica seconda? Sai, it's come to the end. Non mi lascia più ir l'offren dell'arte. So it says, he says here, what does he say here? So here, oggi noi intendiamo la presenza nell'artista di un vigile senso critico quando compone, se vuol fare dell'arte, non infastidirsi con le sue chiacchiere più o meno elegantemente dette. So in other words, I've done what I had to do. Now I'm following and I'm going to, basically move on. Io ritornai, ok? No, ma non posso non aggiungere, e qui concludo, che dal bagno nella santissima, purificante e perciò santificante acqua dell'Eunoe, in cui mi immerse Matelde, ritornai presso Beatrice rinnovato, integralmente restituito alle mie originarie facoltà, come in primavera le piante giovani ritornano a nuova vita e si coprono di nuove fronde, purificato e libero da ogni macchia di peccato e quindi nella disposizione spirituale di chi si avverte degno di salire alle stelle, al cielo, al regno della beatitudine, eccetera, eccetera, eccetera. So the last bit is, io ritornai dalla santissima onda, rifattosi come piante novelle, rinovellate di novella fronda, puro e disposto a salire le stelle. Wow. I've become emotional here. Yeah. Pure io. Well. I too am ready to go to paradise after this. That's it for Purgatorio. Arrivederci. Okay, now I'll read my poem. Okay, this one relates to, this poem here, from Amica Poesia, relates to le quattro stagioni, which are l'estate, l'autunno, l'inverno e la primavera. And I say at the beginning, a me piacciono tutte le stagioni perché ognuna di esse ci dà qualcosa di diverso e di importante. Okay, I won't read that this week. I'll read La realtà di Brina, which is my first poem. La realtà di Brina. La brina gioiella nel sole glorioso del mattino appare come un prato di diamanti sparsi sul verde della primavera in arrivo. Un certo fresco, uno strano dolore sta superando la lotta per l'esistenza. In un chiarore insolito il giorno passa lentamente, come se l'eternità per una volta volesse imprimere su questo mio cuore un sentimento che si sveglia alla realtà della verità. Almost, this is incredible. It's appropriate to the finishing off of Purgatorio. L'uomo ha tutto ciò che il giorno rappresenta, un animale sensibile che si rallegra con la natura, con il gongolare del giorno. Nessuno è indifferente alla strana felicità della foresta, alla pace quieta che si trova in campagna in giorni così chiari. Nella giungla della città si sente un cardellino cantare, un'amara melanconia pervade l'aria che è così struggente di vita. Il vecchio sogno della natura è morto, là rimane soltanto la rumorosa vita della civiltà. Never understood this poem of mine. It's a beautiful poem, really. Frosty Reality, it's called in English. The jewel frost in the morning's glory sun seems like a meadow of diamonds scattered over the green of oncoming spring. A certain coolness, a strange sorrow is overcoming the struggle to existence. Unusually clear, the day goes by slowly, as if eternity for once wishes to imprint on this heart of mine an awakening feeling of reality, of truth. Men is all the day represents, and women too. A sensitive animal that rejoices with nature, with the print of the day. No one is indifferent to the strange happiness of the bush, to the quiet peace found in the country on such clear days. In the wilderness of the city, a little bird is heard singing. Bitter melancholy pervades the air that is so pregnant with life. The old dream of nature is dead. There remains only the rattling life of civilization. That needs a bit of explanation too, this poem. Wow. And now is the time that I enjoy most when I come back. Let me see. Is it coming back? Yes? No? Oh no, I've got to do it. Hold on. This is supposed to be iCloud. No, I haven't done it properly. Okay, just give me a chance. I will be there with you soon. Come on, Tommaso. The singing part is arriving, so yes. I have to sign in. Okay. Unbelievable. But at least, at least it'll be good when I start this. Just a bit more. I have 3 songs for you. It's called Parlami d'amore Mario, Vipera in la mazurka della nonna, and that concludes Coro all'improvviso number 9. And can I say, this week on Wednesday, I'll be at Federazione Lucana from 3 p.m. till 4:30. And a group of people are coming with Teresa Alto Italia. And thank you to Teresa. If they come, it'll be fantastic because we'll have another activity here in Melbourne in terms of, the singing part. And here we are. Very soon we'll be there. A bit more. Oh. What did I say? It was... I have to wait. I have to wait. And it's 18 to 22. Here we are. We're there. Okay. That's it. I'm ready. Okay. Here we go. Have a look at this first. That's it. We're going to start with this. Okay. And then we'll go. Next one. That's Dora. Lovely. And Rina with the tamburello there. Very good. The next one. And the next one. Here we go. This is the second set of Coro all'improvviso number 9. And we have 3 beautiful songs coming up, and we'll start with a very, well, a classical one called Parlami d'amore, Maria. Here we go. Parlami d'amore, Maria. Come sei bella, che bella stasera, Maria. Splende un sorriso di stella e gli occhi tuoi blu. Anche se avverso il destino domani sarà, oggi ti sono vicino perché sospirar, non pensar. Parlami d'amore, Mario, tutta la mia vita sei tu, gli occhi tuoi belli brillano, come 2 stelle scintillano, dimmi che illusione non è, dimmi che sei tutta per me, qui sul tuo cuore non soffro più, parlami d'amore, Mario. So che una bella e magliarda sirena sei tu, so che si perde chi guarda quegli occhi tuoi blu, ma che importa se il mondo si burla di me, meglio nel gorgo profondo, ma sempre con te. Parlami d'amore, Mario, tutta la mia vita sei tu, gli occhi tuoi belli brillano, come 2 stelle scintillano, dimmi che illusione non è, dimmi che sei tutta per me, qui sul tuo cuore non soffro più, parlami d'amore, Mario. Beautiful, huh? Let's not forget that Dora does this as we move along. She's wonderful, you know. Sorry, I've got to go next one. Here we go. This is the second song of the second set of Choral Improviso number 9, and the name of it is called Vipera. It's a different one. Both Reno and Dora. Well, anyway, I'll try it, and because I know it quite well. Okay, so I'll just try it myself, okay? Yeah. But with a bit of accompaniment if there is there. Okay.
I don't know this song. No.
You don't know this song? Well, you've heard it before, but anyway. Okay. Vipera. Ella portava un braccialetto strano, una vipera d'oro attorcigliata, che viscida parea sotto la mano, viscida e viva quando l'ho toccata, quando ella abbandonavasi fremente sul mio seno, parea schizzasse tutto il suo veleno. Vipera, vipera, sul braccio di colei, qu'oggi distrugge tutti i sogni miei, sembravi un simbolo, l'atroce simbolo della sua malvagità. Mamma che quando sogna, sogna il vero, ha sognato di me la notte scorsa, m'ha visto per un ripido sentiero, presso una malavipera era corsa, e si è svegliata pallida, gridando per terrore, la vipera m'aveva già morso il cuore. Vipera, vipera, sul braccio di colei, oggi distrugge tutti i sogni miei, sembravi un simbolo, la croce simbolo della sua malvagità. Per non amarla più andar lontano, ma lontano non posso rimanere, è tu il suo bacio che mi rende insano, la sua perfidia che mi fa piacere, e quando mi divincolo, ribello a quest'amore, qualcosa mi si annoda in fondo al cuore. Vipera, vipera, sei tu che sei tu colei, che ha distrutto tutti i sogni miei, era il tuo simbolo, la croce simbolo della tua malvagità. We'll go straight to the next one. Okay, so here we go. Well, we get to the last song. Time goes very fast here because we go right into it and we want to do it. And we actually do it. We got our 6 songs all worked out, and this is the last song of the second set of Coro all'Improviso number 9, and it is La Mazurka della Nonna. And here comes La Mazurka della Nonna. La Mazurka della Nonna. Quando senti l'orchestrina tra una danza americana che strimpella una mazurka dall'aria paesana, pensi allora alla quadriglia d'un bel tempo che passò, quando usava la pariglia attaccata all'andò, quando non c'erano i tanghi e i foxtrot. La mazurka che ballava la mia nonna, con le frecce a penzolone, con i mutandoni sotto la sua gamba. Quando mio nonno, per baciare la sua mano, non usava la scaletta ma la bicicletta al primo piano. E i giovincelli diventando poco più, come erano belli, coi baffoni all'insù. La mazurka d'un bel tempo assai lontano, quando prima di sposarsi stavano a guardarsi con le mani in mano. Ora si balla la carioca, il sassofono rimbomba, ma mio nonno solo ancora il grammofono a tromba. Pensa a me alla nostalgia, all'antica gioventù, quando l'ogni Maria non era mai. Come era bello quel tempo che fu, alla mazurka che ballava la mia nonna, con le frecce a penzoloni e con i mutandoni sotto la sangonna. Quando mio nonno, per toccare la sua mano, non usava la scaletta ma la bicicletta fino al primo piano. E giovincelli diventando poco più, come erano belli, con baffoni per in su. Alla mazurka d'un bel tempo assai lontano, quando prima di sposarsi stavano a guardarsi con le mani in mano. Well, we've come to the end of Purgatorio. Now, for the next set of lezioni, I would call them, on Purgatorio. There'll be 5 or 6. I'm not quite sure yet how many I will do. But I would like to thank each and every one of you for having come on and following my Purgatorio presentations. You can listen to them again or in Insegna.com in the blog section. Also on YouTube, it'll be, I'll put them all up for you to, they're already up there now, only a few more to do. And then I'm up I'm up to date. So thank you very much for today. I'm really appreciative of the fact that a few people have come on and enjoy the day, the weekend. Of course, today is Sunday, and it's a rainy day all day by the looks of it. But we are warm inside, in our heart. Ciao, Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. And now we are going to finish off, and yep, ciao.